What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Hope you're doing well today. Welcome to Across the Sea. This is Punker Jeffy's newest release. It was uploaded on MXB Mods last night. MXB Mods seems to be having a few issues though, so I was only able to get it downloaded this morning to try out. This track right here is a full-on sand track located on a remote island in the Mediterranean Sea. This track is apparently located near Greece. Again, it's fully sand. He says it's fine on a 450. Some of the jumps will be a little bit of a stretch on a 250, but are very much doable. Lap times around this track, you're looking at about the 2.5 minute mark. That is what Punker Jeffy said his best lap time is so far. And I'm quite excited for this one. So in terms of like track colours and feel, like right here with the sand, it gives me very, very similar vibes to his last track, the OA, which I think everybody enjoyed. I saw that one on Public Lobby so much. So I'm hoping for kind of the same thing. Visually, it looks really, really nice. And if you have a look through MXB Mods, all the screenshots that he's taken are just so generally appealing. I think I'm going to have to steal one of them for the thumbnail. Even love stuff like this, like having the boat chilling on the side. And this is an incredibly good boat model. Usually when you did see things like this downloaded online, unless he's made it himself, it's usually got like reflections that are all weird or parts of the boat that are missing or invisible, but that looks incredible. So fair play. You know me, I love my sand track, so I'm very excited to try this one out. I'm going to turn the max hard map on and everything so I know exactly where I'm going, so hopefully we don't crash too much. And I'm kind of crossing my fingers for more of the same as the OA, where it was just nice and flowy, couple of lines here. These eggs. Oh, hang on. I just heard bubbling. I do hear bubbling. We've got a little bit of an Easter egg going on here. These look like eggs to me, not rocks. So we've stumbled across some massive... I mean, it's a remote island. There could be all sorts going on. I mean, I actually know these look more like rocks as well. Maybe they're not eggs. That could be a fun little surprise in the future. But yeah, overall, looks very, very nice. He said because of how much foliage there is, he's tried to optimize it as much as he can. So frame rate should be okay. And flying around, the frames were absolutely fine. So enough waffling. Let's spin some laps and see how she rides. So I'm going to mix things up to once. I'm actually going to go for the 110 rear tyre rather than the 120. Just because on Southwick, I ran the 120. And I then found out after the fact that apparently everyone was running the 110. Now, I'd done really, really well at Southwick. I didn't feel like I was at a disadvantage at the time. But, you know, we can always try new things. Always try different things out. So let's see how this goes. First things first. Let me, if I turn, not that one, that one. So this is reshade on, which makes obviously all the whites really white. If I turn it off, I think turning it off makes it a little bit better YouTube video-wise, so there's not as much of a contrast. YouTube has a really hard time, like, especially with bitrate, showing all of the really light bits or really dark bits, depending on what track you're on. So I'm going to try and keep it as a middle ground as possible. So this is just raw. This is raw track, and still I think it looks very, very pretty for being a raw track as well. So let's see how it flows. Now, as I said, Jeffy's last release, the OA, incredible. Everybody loved that one. And one thing that was quite nice to see actually is in the post of this, so in the description, he actually wrote that apparently he has no desire of ever making any of his tracks paid in the future. He just does it for a little bit of fun. And then obviously goes on to say like any like donations and stuff are appreciated, etc. So that's nice to see. Nice to see that he's just got such a soft spot and a passion for building tracks in general, that he has no desire to make any sort of profits from it. And he definitely could do. I feel like he could do. Stuff like this, where it's, I must say, it's not a boring track. What's the word for it? It's like where you are sat on an island and it's just quite wide open. It's not almost like as full as like paid tracks would be. But this is nice in its own way. You haven't always got to have tracks that are just an absolute cluster of models and everything all over the place. This does a very good job. You know, you've got a full few rocks / boulders dotted around here and there, a whole bunch of foliage as well, and then just sand. Got a little bit of water over here that was bubbling away, maybe some hot springs, I have no idea. But you can let your imagination run wild. Got to jump slightly to the left here, jump over these little sand rollers. That's what I love about sand, is trying to double and triple your way around the tracks as much as you can do. Double that, double that. Yeah, yeet, step down. Very lucky to downslide that. Was Jeffy also made Cairo GP, didn't he? So yeah, he's made two absolute bangers that people really enjoy back to back, and now probably free. Probably free. When I was streaming last night, I was doing some elimination races when the servers allowed us to. MX Bike servers are still very much in the bin, just crashing all the time and having to restart. If one or two people said, "Oh, check out Across the Sea," blah blah blah, and then I went to go and try and look at it last night. But yeah, I was throwing up an error on the MXB Mods page until today. To be fair, I did slide into Jeffy's DMs and ask if he had a direct link for the track, because when I woke up this morning and went to download it, it still wasn't working. And then by the time he got back to me, which is probably like 30 minutes ago, the website was subsequently up again. Anyway, so I had to cancel my foot draft, cancel my FIFA. I've won 3 out of the 4 games so far, so once I've done recording this, I'll go and try and finish off the 4th one, see if I can win all 4 in a row and get my packs and my prizes. And then for the rest of the day, I need to go to the shop. Need to go to the store, sorry, for you American folk. I need to go to the store today and get some drinks, as we are all out of the good stuff. We just have water, and that's it. And how boring is that? Nobody wants to sit there and drink just water all day long. I like a little bit of fizzy action in my life, even if it's like your Pepsi Maxes, or your Tango low sugars, or your Fanta Lights, and all that good stuff. Get a little bit of fizzy in the system. I feel like, because I'm trying to eat better and gymming a lot at the moment, usually when I'm like really craving bad food, I'll just have a fizzy drink, like a 0-calorie fizzy drink, and it just kind of, you know, it scratches the itch, you know. That's kind of like my coping mechanism for these days. So there's a little bit of advice if anyone's trying to do the same thing. Where's the finish line on this track then? So we're at 2 minutes 16 lap time right now. Jeffy said his best is a 2:34. So I want to see if we can get kind of close to that. I don't know if he rides a 450 or if he rides a 250 for that lap, but he said he's ridden both. He's tested them both around here, so both should be no problem at all. Nice little step down. I think I actually prefer hitting that. That's got to be the finish line, hasn't it? Yeah, lap did not count. I did jump off the track on 1 corner, so that's to be expected. But he did say that none of my sectors counted there. We'll try and do another one. We'll go back to back and see if the timing's working. Again, when I loaded up MXB mods last night, I swear it said that the page for this had been viewed like 1,800 times and had 0 downloads, obviously because it wasn't working. So you can see like the effect that Jeffy's tracks have on people. If you've got 1,800 people just looking at your track in the first place as soon as it releases within the space of a couple hours, then I feel like you're doing a pretty damn good job, in all honesty. So definitely keep it up, and it's nice to see that he's got a little bit of an itch. It looks like he was a reflex track creator before he moved over to bikes, and I always love seeing people coming from different games and trying things out. There we go. So I hit the timing gate that time. Oh, no. Okay, I'm going to try and turn around and rejoin as soon as I can do where I came off, so we don't miss any timing at all. Of course, that is going to massively hinder my lap times, but it's not the end of the world. We're going to step down here, try and rail this outside. Oh, that is treacherous. That's the issue with these sand tracks, is you can't get cranked over quite as far as you do on normal soils. You've got to be a little bit careful. So whilst you do want to just crank the bike over and rail some of these berms, you have to constantly have in the back of your mind just a little bit of just be a little bit reserved. It's probably the best way of wording it. But be careful railing this one. I imagine this track will rut up quite nicely. I think on the OA, when we played it with quite a few people, the ruts formed fairly nicely in the corners, and I think that's just sand in general. I definitely think sand erodes better than soil at this exact moment in time. And this does get me onto a little bit of a topic, actually, which I'm interested to see people's opinions on. Because, again, Linz is in the minority, as always, thinking this. But with current traction, when it comes to, like, aerial pro tracks and stuff, I am of the opinion that I think they should all be soil rather than soft soil. I think they should be a little bit slipperier than they actually are. Nothing against like the OEM guys or anything like that at the moment. It's just the way the tyres are at the moment. You just got so much grip. It's just crazy. And going back to like Washougal, for example, and being able to flat track and rail some of the corners as fast as we can do on 450s without sliding out, it does get to a point where it's a little bit crazy. So I would love to see more tracks being soil, but some people then compare soil to being like on an ice rink, and I do agree to an extent. I think when you're pulling away, when you're at really low speed, it's very slippery. Then when you get up to pace, it's a bit more predictable. So tracks like JV's Linkoping, for example, are soil traction, and I love them. I really enjoy them. When we do them in live streams, I always seem to do very well on them. Other people do tend to struggle quite a lot, but it's just because it's a soil type they're not used to. We did get the one Supercross round this year, which I can't remember which one it was. I really can't remember which one. Maybe it was Glendale or something. No idea. But we had one Supercross round this year that was soil, which seems like a lot of people enjoyed. And it only takes like 10-20 minutes to get used to it before you know what you're doing. Yeah, I'd love to see some of the tracks being soil. I know that they're going with the approach of making all of the aerial tracks, like each round different. You know, some ruts are peaky, some ruts are really wide, some tracks have choppy bumps, some tracks have rolling bumps, just given their own like unique characteristics. I'd love to see them like expand on that a little bit more with soil types as well. I know we've only got the 3 main ones to get used So we've got sand, which was obviously all of Southwick. It was some of Millville. With then most of the tracks as soft soil outside of that. But I'd like to see some soil ones. Maybe if there's particularly dry around, one that looks quite hard pack in real life, it'd be interesting to mix in there a little bit. Then, yeah, I think it also comes down to whatever the next OEM update is when we get tyres. I know they're working on the whole thing of like being able to slide the back end round if you want to, while still having a decent amount of traction, which I'm very, very intrigued to see how it works, because it's basically like defying the game's physics at that point and getting the bikes to do something the game doesn't want it to do. So if they can do a good job of that, I'd take my hat off to them and give them a big old round of applause. That would be very impressive to see. Because you know my thoughts on this game at this point, where it's like a GP Bikes 2.0, where basically remove your bike model, pretend you're on a road bike, and then go on the track, and then everything will make a lot more sense to you. Why we kind of apex corners as much as we do, carry as much momentum around like outsides, and basically just turn as little as possible and keep perfect traction. It's because we are literally riding road bikes on dirt at the end of the day, and that's not OEM team's fault or any other bike team's fault that make bikes. That is just the fundamentals of the game's physics, unfortunately. So they just have to work with that, I suppose. So working against that and trying to get it to handle like a dirt bike must be quite a difficult task. I don't have any inside information these days, OEM-wise, as I'm not part of the team anymore. However, I swear I saw something like we wouldn't have new OEM stuff by Supercross, but maybe by next Outdoors. So we've got a bit of time to wait, but I generally feel like things like this, first of all, you shouldn't rush them anyway, because then you'd have to release little updates anyway if things aren't perfect. Secondly, I believe they're also waiting on Proboso to make a fundamental change to the game that they've requested, so then they can change the tyres accordingly. And then, yeah, they probably don't want to release it halfway through a season, so if the Supercross season starts, it'd be a bit of a pain in the bum having to learn new tyres at that point. So, yeah, I don't mind them taking their time at all, a little bit, but I'm excited for it. It'll be interesting to see if, like, metas change or anything like that, like the way that people play the game, see if that changes at all. Because right now, the fast way, again, just seems to be start off really wide in a corner, cut to the inside, drift out wide again, like you're driving an F1 car, just trying to apex all the lines, which on like hard pack tracks and things like that in real life I can understand, but for the most part we do, like on motorbikes, you do steal the back end for the most part. You know, you don't get perfect traction everywhere. Like you'll spin the back end around in a corner to try and accelerate out of it really quickly, unless you have a really, really rutted corner. But even in like Supercross, could you imagine in Supercross if you had the ability to be able to like just quickly lock up the back brake for a second, get on the power to get the back end spun around, and then basically cut down underneath somebody and then still be able to like triple into a rhythm? That would honestly, it would elevate the game so much. And I haven't kept up to date on the sim Supercross side of things for a very long time, but I remember back more like the JV traction days, to be honest, like way back, early days of sim, when there were two ways of riding the track, you know, where you could try and be smooth and track all the way around the outside of a corner, or you could go in at a really sharp angle, like slam the front brake on to like get the back wheel really light, spin it around, get on the throttle and go again. And both methods worked. Both methods are really fast. So I'd love some more depth to the game. I think it would be a big old W. Survive, please, thank you. I was just about to say I'm actually on an okay lap here. I think I should be under that 2 minute 30 mark that Jeffy has set. Back onto the start straight here. We jump to the inside. That's okay. Kind of mixing up the lines and crossing back and forth there. And we step down. I think the big double at the end of the next straight is the finish line. And he just has a really good knack for this. Like, this track is so fun and so flowy. What am I on? I'm on lap 4 right now, and I already feel like I've got the whole track figured out. It's not a difficult track by any means. It is built really well. It's enough to keep me entertained, and I think having a race against a bunch of people around this track will be very fun. But also, if you're newer to the game, maybe like, oh, I want to try and learn sand, but like Southwick's a little bit too difficult for me because I'm just bouncing all over the place. Start something like this. Jeffy seems to have quite a knack for sand, actually, because I think Cairo GP people really enjoyed. That's a full sand track. People then also really enjoyed the OA as well, which I can't remember. I don't think it's sand traction, but it has almost like a sandy flow in some sections, and it looks just like this in terms of like visuals. And this one, again, I think he just keeps getting better and better with each track that he releases, which you love to see from a track creator's perspective. I like seeing people improve, and I like seeing people do what they enjoy. That's the most important thing. I'm glad he's enjoying it and having fun doing it and releasing content for the community. So yeah, big W's to Jeffy all around, and might be selfish from myself, but I hope to see some more from you as well. I really do enjoy your tracks a lot, and it seems like in terms of just general public opinion, it wouldn't surprise me if I loaded the game up later tonight and saw like 3, 4, 5 semi-populated servers on this track, which is a hard thing to do these days. You know, people, they love their Walnut V1s, they love their Farm 14s and their Forests, etc. I have noticed recently Walnut V2 has a few populated servers, which I think is the first time I've ever seen that happen for any paid tracks. I've also noticed there's been a few servers up on like the aerial tracks, getting some practice in as well, which is nice. So it's not all same. There's a couple of servers that I've seen kind of pushing things a little bit. If you are a server owner, like if you have your own deddy that just runs during the day that ends up getting people in it, but then you're also someone that complains that the same tracks get played over and over, then just don't give them the option to play it in the first place, you know? Set up a little maybe rotation on your server, choose a couple of tracks that, I mean, still free tracks to be fair, like a lot of people don't like buy tracks anyway these days, so just do some free tracks that not that many people play. It'll get people a chance to look at it, like if it's populated, they'll go and download a new track that maybe they've never played before, they might find a new track they really enjoy, and I think that's the only way really of changing the MX Bikes landscape, is to try and push things a little bit. It's why in my live streams and eliminations or normal races, I try and shy away from them standard tracks like so much, unless we're doing stupid stuff. It is quite fun every now and then forcing everybody to do like a higher road forest race. I don't know why it is, but it just, I don't know, I find that actually quite enjoyable. Other than that, yeah, normal racing on forest, no thank you, not a bit of me. So to Mr. Jeffy, again, massive W's all around. I think that crash is probably a very good time to end it. Visually, it looks really good. I'm very sorry that I called your rocks eggs at the start, but I thought we was going for like a little bit of maybe like a Jurassic vibe with this abandoned island harbouring some secrets. The ocean, the sea, looks incredible. It looks really nice. Done a good job on that. And then like the foliage is enough to keep your eyes happy without being too much, and it doesn't cause any FPS issues, at least for me. So yeah, again, W all around. Oh, one thing I didn't check. 3D grass. Has he got any 3D grass dotted around? I can't tell if that's made a difference, but either way, it looks nice, it rides good, and he seems to just have a really good knack for building smooth, rolling sand tracks that are just easy, but then enjoyable at the same time. So definitely go and check it out, and I don't know what else to say. Have a lovely rest of the day. If you enjoyed, drop a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new, all that lovely stuff. Have a lovely rest of the day, whatever you're up to, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Peace.
Lynn's in the zone, never backing down. Riding MX bikes, he's the talk for the town. 2022 champ with a YouTube crown. His game is tight, no signs of slowing down. Late nights, bright lights, he's chasing that fame in the digital arena. Writing his name, she's a 10 out of 10. Supporting his lane, hairline might recede, but his passion's the same.